Joining us, two members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Democrat Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut and Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. Senators, great to have you back on Common Ground. There was some common ground in that hearing today. Senator Blumenthal, I heard the questions you were asking. Why was the former president allowed to go on that stage? Did you get answers today?
No, I got no answers to that basic question, nor to other questions like why wasn't that suspicious individual who fit the profile, 15 to 25 years old, young male, for the potential domestic terrorist, why wasn't he stopped? Why didn't they have that roof in sight to take him out before he fired that weapon? So there are more unanswered questions than there are answers. And that's why, as a chairman of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, I told Acting Director Rowe I wanted documents right away, and he promised to get them to us by the end of the week or thereafter. And I can tell you that I, as chairman of that subcommittee on investigations, along with Ron Johnson, the ranking member, are going to use compulsory process if necessary to get those documents, because one of the failures here is not only before the shooting but afterward in the lack of disclosure and the full truth-telling of the American people.
That's pretty amazing, Senator Blackburn. I mean, this long after the attempted assassination, and I heard your questions about getting into these encrypted messages and these apps, and we're getting a mixed picture. It's two different ideological perspectives that look at this, and the FBI saying they're having problems getting into it. It just doesn't all make sense.
It does not make sense. And to have mentioned just the one platform, pardon me, social media platform, when he was a younger guy, where you had the anti-immigrant, anti-Semitic activity, and then the Gab.com, where he was epic microwave on that app, and he was very pro-lockdown, pro-illegal immigration. So you see these two different pictures. Getting answers to that, getting answers from the Secret Service if they're going to let these whistleblowers talk, and if they're going to provide them protections, because we had the one whistleblower this morning that sent something out. I think, Brett, the fact that you saw such bipartisanship today, that we have to have these answers, because when the Secret Service messes up, it's not like somebody missing their sales quota or their casework quota. People die. And that's what you saw in Butler, Pennsylvania.
And we saw it in the House hearing as well. And do you think that this joint bipartisan commission that has been set up is going to get to the bottom of some of this?
I am really sincerely hoping that we do, because the credibility, not only the Secret Service, but our entire law enforcement community depends on it. But it will take independent, bipartisan investigation, penetrating and absolutely aggressive and independent, not just in name, but in thinking.
It's rare that we see a motion from a bill on Capitol Hill, but here is Lori Schott, whose 18-year-old daughter took her life in 2020, talking about this.
This is not a freedom of speech. This is about a product design, and they are designing these social media platforms to addict our kids, to engage them online for profits. And no matter how hard we tried, we were those parents that checked her phone, that said it had to be on the counter, that gave, constant conversations about the dangers. And still, it was a place that we protected her in a physical world, but in an internet world, late at night on these platforms, she eventually deteriorated her mental health and she took her life.
You two introduced this Kids Online Safety Act nearly 3 years ago, and you are repeat visitors here on Common Ground. Senator Blackburn, today it passed 91-3.
That's right.
What do you think about that?
Oh, we were thrilled with that vote to have 72 members of the U.S. Senate that have read the bill. We have worked tirelessly to meet with our colleagues, to meet with off-the-Hill groups, with these parents who have been just so diligent and so committed to telling their story and building support for this and proving that our kids are the product when they're online, and we need product design and safety by design and a duty of care to protect our children in the virtual space. It was wonderful to see this today.
The three who voted against it had different reasons, but here is Senator Rand Paul.
They have 70 co-sponsors because nobody reads the bills. Nobody thinks of the implications of the bill. The bill gives virtually unlimited purview to the Children's Online Safety Council to determine what causes anxiety. Everything causes anxiety in teenagers. I grant that there are terrible and tragic cases where children have committed suicide or otherwise, but this isn't the answer. The answer isn't to abbreviate or take away the precious rights guaranteed under the First Amendment.
First Amendment issue there for Senator Paul. Senator Blumenthal, do you want to address that?
I will absolutely be delighted to address it, as I did yesterday on the floor of the Senate when we rebutted Senator Paul, talk about reading the bill. As I said then, I respectfully suggest he should read the bill. There's no censorship in the bill. There is no impact on First Amendment rights. We are talking about enabling young people and parents to make choices, not to block any content. No bureaucrat is going to say you can't watch this program or that kind of content. Bullying, eating disorders, suicidal ideation, amphetamine, and sex exploitation, they're all out there, and they're repeatedly driven at kids through these algorithms, the addictive features, and we're saying you can disconnect from them, and those social media have a duty of care when they know, or should know, that young people are on the site. So it is kind of product design. You know, all my law enforcement career, when I was Attorney General of the state of Connecticut, or before that, United States Attorney, I tried to protect people against defective products. What we're saying to social media, just as we say to a car manufacturer that has to install seatbelts or airbags, make the product safer.
Bill now goes to the House. You feel confident about it, and you put the onus on the social media companies.
That's correct, and we have good bipartisan support in the House. We have support from House leadership. We think it will move quickly when they come back in September. And all of these wonderful parents who have worked with us over the last 3 years are now focusing on the House. And we look forward to getting this signed into law. It is time to hold social media to account for what they've done to our kids.
Well, Senators, this is why we do this segment, Common Ground, people working together across the aisle on different things, and this is a big thing. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having us.